Hello students, this is Supriya Mogle, Assistant Professor at Center for Distance Education, Shivaji University, Kolhapur. I am here to discuss about one of the interesting topic of management, that is motivation. So in this video, we are going to learn what is motivation and various theories of motivation. So, first of all, I would like to tell you that if you think my speed is really very fast, then you can go to the setting and adjust the speed as per your requirement. Okay, then we'll start. Meaning and definition of motivation. William Scott says that motivation is a process of stimulating people to action to accomplish the desired goal. Okay, now in the company, workers are working in the company, but they are, always not that much inspired to work and they are not interested to work. So, it is employers' responsibility to educate them, to inspire them, to motivate them, or to encourage them to work and to accomplish the desired goal. So that is called motivation. Then Lewis Allen says that motivation is a work which is performed by managers to inspire, encourage, and impel people to take the required action. Means suppose if one's performance is really very low and another one is not cleared about the roles and responsibilities, etc., so you are going to observe that performance, and as per the requirement you should motivate them. They should encouraged to work, they should encouraged to increase their performance. So that is called motivation. So we are going to see various theories of motivation. First is Maslow's need hierarchy theory. So Maslow's need hierarchy theory is really very basic. It is based on the needs of a human being. What are his needs? On the basis of that, he has implemented this theory. So there are five types of needs. First is physiological, safety, then social, or it is also called as love or belonging, then esteem and self actualization. So physiological needs means whatever we need to live or we need to survive. Okay, that means our basic needs, that is food, water and shelter. Food, water, and also there are some survival needs like sleep and rest, etc., that comes under physiological. Then safety needs means physical protection from animals, from heat, cold, rain, wind, etc. These are some physical protections. And economic protections are also there, means protection from loss of the job or loss in the business. So this is the another need of the human being. Now it is a mentality of human being. They will not satisfy by having that needs. They are expecting more and more. When they when you have that needs, you will not satisfy that, you need more and more. Okay, so after having these types of needs, he will need some social type of requirements, social needs. Love and belonging means social needs, means man cannot live in isolation. Okay, he want others along with him. So need of acceptance, he need love, he need affection, he need life partner or friend to live, to survive, and to exchange of feelings. So friends and other relationship are also important for human being. Then next is esteem or self esteem. Self esteem means this is feeling of accomplishment. It included some ego or prestige need. It is self esteem, self respect, self confident, achievement, independence, or esteem of others, means reputation, status, etc. Then the last one is self-actualization. Self-actualization means achieving one's full potential, means self-realization need. These are psychological in nature includes need for realizing one's full potential, for continued self development, for being creative, personal growth. So this is about Maslow's need hierarchy theory. Okay, when there is example, or there is a question in your exam that is explain the Maslow's need hierarchy theory, then you have to you have to draw this diagram, this pyramid. Okay, and when it is said need, then you should remember these five needs, then you can remember this pyramid. Okay. Next is Husberg's two-factor theory. Now, Husberg's two-factor theory means there are given two factors regarding job satisfaction and productivity, and on the basis of these two factors, employees are going to motivated. Okay, then first is maintenance or hygiene factors, and next is motivating factors. It is also called as dissatisfiers, and motivating factors are called satisfiers. Now, dissatisfier means if it is not present. Okay, means absence will dissatisfy. It is not present in that way, then employee will feel dissatisfaction. Then satisfier means absence will not dissatisfy, but presence will satisfy. Okay, for example, suppose if we go to the restaurant and have dinner. Okay, and we have expected that we will get the food or meal in that restaurant, and suppose there is no meal available in the restaurant, then that means absence, and we will dissatisfy. Okay, and if there is a good food. Okay, then because uh, because of that presence, we are not going to satisfy, because we have already expected that there is food available. So that is called dissatisfier, means absence will dissatisfy and presence will satisfy. Okay, so dissatisfiers, there are some factors. First is company policy. Company policy should be there. There should have some rules and regulations in the company. Then technical supervisions, employees need some technical supervisions. Employee needs training from the supervisors. Interpersonal relationship means good interpersonal relationship between the peers or the supervisors or the subordinates. Then salary, obviously salary they need. The main objective they are working is salary. If salary is not given to the employees, then they will dissatisfy. Okay, then job security, employer should give some job security to the employee. Means job security means he is assuring that you will work for 5 years and nobody will going to fire you. Or if there is not job security, means today only they can say you can leave the organization. That is called not having job security. So employees want that job security. Working conditions, employees want some good working condition, good physical working condition, means the space or some washing facilities, restrooms, or you know ventilation, proper ventilation, drinking water, washing facilities, etc. they need in the workplace. So that is called working condition. And if these are not present, means proper ventilation is not there, proper temperature is not there in the workplace, or overcrowding is there, so they will dissatisfy. Then status is also really very important. They need some status in the organization, they need some recognition. Okay, then satisfier means motivating factors. If these factors are present in the process, then they will motivate it. Achievement, recognition, everyone should recognize his work. Then opportunity for growth means promotion, they need promotion, they need higher authority. Responsibilities, they need some other responsibilities also. And work itself means someone really like their work. So these factors can satisfy the employees work. So these are motivating factors. So there are two factors, that's why it is called two factor theory, and it is implemented by Husbergs. Next is McGregor's theory X and theory Y. So he believes about human behavior. Okay, if manager assumptions about human being or human behaviors are positive, then his motivational action will also be positive. So he developed two alternative sets of assumptions about human behavior, that is theory X and theory Y. So theory X is a traditional assumptions about human behavior, and its assumptions are negative in nature, and theory Y is positive in nature. These are modern approach dynamic nature of human being and near to reality. So theory X included, these are just assumptions. Okay, he has developed theory X. He thinks that there are some workers who dislike the work, who avoid the work. They are not that much ambitious. They prefer to be directed by others, means they want direction from others. They avoid responsibilities. There is a lack of creativity, and they resist change, means they don't want any change in the process. So these type of employees are come under theory X, and opposite to that theory Y, it is positive in nature, means employees work and employees like the work. They are ambitious, they are capable of directing, they know need of directing. Then they are self-directed, self-controlled. Then they accept the responsibility. They are creative, they do some creativeness in the process. Then they accept changes. There is no, they don't bother about the changes, they are ready to accept the change. So these two types of employees are included in every organizations, and these are some assumptions, and how you are going to tackle with them, how you are going to manage these types of peoples is the important part of this theory. Now, there are two types of employees or workers in the organization. Okay, so how you are going to manage them, how you are going to handle them. Okay, so there are given implications by him. That is for theory X. If theory X workers are there, then you should have close supervision. Means strict environment should be there. Control the subordinates. Control of subordinates means you are going to have control on that workers, means performance measurement should be there. If his performance is low, then you are going to have some actions on them. Then high centralized authority, he will use, or employer will use his power, his authority to that worker. Autocratic leadership. Autocratic leadership means boss is always right, I have said you. That means boss is going to tell everything about the task, and he has to complete, worker has to complete at any cost. Okay, he has no right to discuss about it, or he has no right about questioning it. So that is called autocratic leadership. Then least participation in decision making. So the workers are not going to participate in decision making, but there are Y theory people are also there in the organization. So how you are going to handle them? Decentralization of authority means there should not be that much close supervision. Okay, decentralization of authority means you are going to delegate your authority. You are going to give your responsibilities to the others, you are going to train them. Democratic leadership means not autocratic. Democratic means participative leadership. Everyone is going to participate in everything, and they are having that you know right to share their ideas, their emotions, or their opinions about anything. So they can have active participation in decision making. And two-way communication. Both two-way communication means in theory X, worker is not going to tell anything, he doesn't have that right. But in participative democratic leadership, worker and employer, there is two-way communication between them. Next is Alderfer's ERG theory. Okay, ERG. So ERG stands for existence, okay, existence, relatedness and growth. So this is also basis on needs, just like Maslow's need hierarchy theory. So it is nothing but the Maslow's theories need are the same, okay, psychological, safety, social esteem, self actualization, all are same, but just he has grouped that, okay, means existence needs include same as physiological safety type of needs are there. Then relatedness needs means same as social and external esteems needs of Maslow's theory, and growth needs means self actualization and internal needs. So it is only the needs are the same, but he had just grouped them and mentioned three different needs on the basis of Maslow's needs, and they are ERG, existence, readiness, and growth. The simple is that, okay. Then next is Victor's Vroom's or Victor Vroom's expectancy theory. So individual tends to act in certain way based on the expectations that the act will be followed by given outcome on the attractiveness of that outcome to the individual. That means everyone in the worker, everyone has a certain way or the expectations are there, so on the basis of that outcome is going to have. That means suppose employer work harder, okay, he works hard, then he believes that it will lead to have motivation at higher post, or he will get a promotion. So workers think that if I do good work or my performance is high, then I can get promotion. So that is his expectations. So it is based on that expectations, and that's why it is called expectancy theory. Okay, so there are three variables they have given: expectancy, instrumentality, and valence. Now expectancy is also known as effort performance linkage. Instrumentality is also called performance outcome linkage, and valence is also known as attractiveness of outcome. So we'll see in detail. Expectancy means it is self-assessment by an employee about whether he can actually do the assigned work. This ranges from 0 to 1. Its value ranges from 0 to 1, where 0 means person feel it is impossible to achieve the given work, so they are not that much confident about achieving that work. And 1 means person is sure that he will achieve the performance level. Then instrumentality means performance outcome linkage, so the relationship between performance and the outcome, and the probability ranges from 0 to 1 again, where 0 means person feel he will not get promotion even if he works good. So there are some employees, they think that if whatever I do, I will not get promotion because of some some misunderstandings are there, or some policies are there. So they feel that if I work harder, then also I will not get promotion. But one probability 1 says that person is confident that he does a good job and he will get promoted. Okay, So this is the difference between 0 and 1. And then valence means attractiveness of outcome. That means it is motivating effect, and cells range from -1 to +1. -1 means very desirable very undesirable output, and +1 means very desirable output. For example, if available rewards can attract a person, okay, means his performance is really very high, and you're going to give rewards to that person to attract a person. That means a valence will high means it will have +1 value. That means very desirable output. So these are some variables that are implemented by Victor Vroom's and in this expectancy theory, there are three types of variables they have explained. These are based on the expectations that the act will be followed by given outcome. So here I complete my video. I hope you understood the concept. It is really very easy. You have to just remember the what they have given in that theory, and the who have invented that theory, that is remembered, and you should write with examples also. And they have explained various types of variables, so that variables you have to remember while writing in the exams. So here I complete my video. I hope you like it, and if you like it, please subscribe my channel. And if you want any other videos on the basis of this topic, you can comment. Okay, thank you.